We've got a former league MVP right here on the set right now in Cam. I ask you, Cam, if you could give back that league MVP for a Super Bowl championship, would you do it?
No.
Oh.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
That was a very interesting answer. Situational timing, as I call it, by Stephen A. Smith. Smart and good question he asked. If you want to listen to the rest of that whole dialogue between those two, you can Google it or just go on First Take or just check your local social media outlets. You'll definitely hear it. You'll find it and hear it. So, but Cam Newton said that he would rather be an MVP than win the Super Bowl. I've never played in the NFL, never played college football, never played high school, or the closest I ever played was touch and flag football. And for me, it was always about the team aspect and just the whole aura. I've never played in the NFL, and I've always wanted to feel that Super Bowl moment. When you watch that game, you want to feel that moment, minus the refs doing their gambling tactics to screw people over. You want to win that game in such classic fashion, which is like a last-minute drive or more a last-minute field goal. I don't like the field goal thing. I just think it's whatever. I always feel like a last-minute touchdown, like a pass or a run in for a touchdown. Just like how KC went down the field last year and beat Mr. Overrated and the 49ers in the Super Bowl with that beautiful play that he ran. I think the last 3 or 4 plays were just masterful for them to run in to I think the 2 or 3 yard line to throw that pass to win the Super Bowl. Like, those are magical moments that you want to be a part of. So for Cam to say that he would rather be an MVP than a Super Bowl winner, I would have to disagree with him. I feel like he's saying that because of the moment. And sure, you want to be the MVP. You want to, individual awards are always great, but you've heard Lamar Jackson speak. He's about to win his third Super Bowl. He's about to win his third MVP in such a short period of time he's been in the league. And he would trade all of them for a Super Bowl. I guarantee you. Lamar Jackson ain't about the MVPs. He knows the MVPs are coming. Lamar Jackson is one of those football players. He knows he is so talented. He knows the MVP is going to be on his mantle. But he doesn't want that. He wants that Lombardi trophy. Everybody that strives to play in the NFL wants that Lombardi trophy. If that's not your goal, then, man, go do something else. Go podcast, go be an analyst, or go coach high school football, or go coach college football. I just cannot see a player coming into the league and not having that mindset and trying to win. I know I'm sure there are some guys that have come into the league and their motives are just to make money. Great, congratulations, you're probably out of the league already. Because I always believe, and I've learned this through my grandfather years ago, if your perspectives is to go in and just to make money, you'll be in as fast and out as fast. You got to have passion. You have to have that love for it. That will keep you around. That will keep the blood flowing. That will keep the heart pumping. Passion and love will keep the heart pumping. Money will just expire you. It's like being on, when you're just trying to go play a sport for money, and I know Cam was not about the money, he was about the passion, because the talent will tell you, and the results and the stats will tell you about Cam. But there are a lot of guys that go into the league and they're basically on life support because they're all they're there for is to make money and show off. So, but I know Cam wanted to win that Super Bowl against Denver. The game did not start off too well. If anybody watched that game in 2016, after Cam won the MVP for the 2015 season, where he had, I think it was 3,800 yards plus, 35 touchdowns to 10 picks. Like, he had a phenomenal, he rushed for a boatload of yards. Like, he just balled out that year. There is nothing you could have said to take anything away from Cam Newton in that MVP year. He had a magical season. Like, I mean, you look at Lamar, what he's done, but Cam Newton was just built differently. Man is 6'4" and change. He's like 2 something. The arm is just a cannon. He moves with quickness, his explosiveness, his eye just for making plays. You know, you've heard analysts, oh, he wasn't the most accurate quarterback, whatever. He did what he had to do with his talent, and he made the most of it. He had a pretty damn good career in Carolina, folks. Like, it was a good career. Like, let's stop with the foolishness. But for Cam to say he would rather be an MVP than a Super Bowl winner, I have to say, I know he's in the moment. I know he wanted that Super Bowl. And I know every player wants more than one chance after they lose. And I believe, and this is just my opinion, I believe that Super Bowl still stings. And you know what? For anybody that's ever lost a championship game, it will always sting. To say it doesn't, when you're a competitive person and when you have those competitive juices and that competitive mindset, folks, a loss will always sting. There's losses that I've had that still sting. It doesn't, what's the word to use? Doesn't consume me, but I see it and I'm like, oh man, I wish I did this. I mean, let's be honest. Von Miller owned him that day. He had like 5 tackles, 1 assist tackle, 2.5 sacks. I think he forced a fumble, and he did a bunch of things in that Super Bowl that was just magical. And it's rare to see defensive players win, Super Bowl MVP, because usually it's a quarterback to quarterback to quarterback. It's like, oh, whatever. But Von Miller came out of the gate, and he was just absolutely stellar. Can you imagine if that Von Miller had showed up against KC? Oh, man. Oh, man. A little bit of that Von Miller had showed up against KC. Whew. Oh, man. Matt Milano with two hands, 2 arms instead of 1. Oh, man. Anyways, back to Cam. But, yeah, I mean, I think Cam is talking based on emotion. And I could understand that. I respect his answer, but I think his answer is baloney. I know he wants that Super Bowl. He wants it. He wants it just as bad as anybody else. I could see Cam on the sidelines as a coach one day. I know Cam might say no, but I could see him being on the sidelines coaching. I think he would be a good coach. I really do. I think he's got that mindset. He's got that little swag to him, but if he puts the swag on the table or in the drawer for a couple of minutes, there's a lot he could teach. Everybody's critical of everybody's choices and decisions, but whatever. I mean, even what happened with him when the Panthers went to Germany, I think was November the 10th when they played the Giants and beat the Giants, I think something like 20-17, and they invited Thomas Davis and Steve Smith and Luke Kuechly and Julius Peppers and John Beeson. All those guys, they invited him, but they never invited Cam. And Cam came on his show, 4th and 1, and was very vocal and very open about it. And I respect that, But I'll say this, the optics tell you everything. And why I say it about the optics is simply because businesses, companies, organizations have their own set of rules for them and then for you. Okay? Cam Newton is a very polarizing figure. He has a lot of kids. He's got 8 kids, 4 with his first girl, and then he's got 4 with a couple other women. In society of those people, that's not acceptable. But if Cam Newton was Elon Musk, that wouldn't be a problem. He would have been invited to Germany. Do I believe Cam should have been invited to Germany? Absolutely. I think he would have been great. You know, he's got that energy. You know, he could bring it. The fans would have loved it. But of course, Carolina has their own rules and their own jurisdiction for certain players. Because when I saw the list of guys that went, I was like, Cam Newton's on that list. He's the only MVP in Carolina history, Carolina Panthers history, and probably will only be the only MVP in Carolina Panthers history. He's the greatest quarterback that franchise has ever had. He's one of the best players, the best player, or one of the best players in the history of Carolina football. So Panthers football. So I'm like, but again, Cam has got to just continue to do his thing and continue to enjoy and live his life. And I think he will. And I think he'll continue to be successful on his podcast, on his show. And again, that first take situation, like, nah, he was lying. He was lying. He wants that Super Bowl. I've never played in the NFL, and I want a Super Bowl. It's just that aura, that magic, you know what I mean? Holding that trophy up, just the history of it, getting that opportunity to make a special play there. I mean, that night was not his night. It was Von Miller's night, and Von Miller took over and did what he had to do. I'm sure if Cam Newton can get another opportunity and won that Super Bowl, and Stephen A. asked him, what would you rather have, the Super Bowl, the MVP? He would say, I want the Super Bowl. I would keep the Super Bowl. Or say Stephen A. said, well, what would you get rid of, the Super Bowl, the MVP? He would get rid of the MVP. The Super Bowl is the ultimate prize when you play football. You got the national championship, then the Super Bowl. And he got the national championship, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong. He hit that pinnacle. He made that ultimate check mark on his resume. He won a national championship. So to say that the Super Bowl don't matter, Cam is lying to us and he's lying to himself. Cam, you're too great to say that. But anyways, folks, once again, that's another edition of Quick Take. Talk to you guys soon. Super Bowl's coming up, and of course, the season in review, the breakdown of the season, that will follow the Super Bowl podcast. But I won't announce that until I'm announcing it, but I won't say when it's going to happen, but it is coming in the works. So, folks, good morning, good afternoon, good night, good day, wherever you are in the world. Peace. And I know I just closed off the show, but I got to add this bonus to it. Cam Newton was 6'5", 245. He also was on the national championship team with Tim Tebow before he left and went to junior college for a year. And then went to Auburn and won another national championship to add to his resume. The number 1 overall pick in 2011. And he's going to say on first take that he would rather the MVP than win a Super Bowl when he did that in college. Offensive Player of the Year 2015, MVP, 3-time Pro Bowler, all sorts of stats and NFL films moments. And he says he would rather the MVP award over the Super Bowl? No way, Cam. No way, Cam. If I saw you in person, I would tell you that straight up in your face. Not in a disrespectful way, but in a respectful gentleman-to-gentleman conversation, because I know your standards ain't low. Your standards is above and beyond. Super Bowl or nothing. Anyways, that is the bonus. Folks, have yourselves a good day wherever you are in the world. Unscripted 101. Quick Take.